Let's go. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Oscar Pinelloza bringing you a video today. Leave a like and a comment, subscribe, click that bell icon, and don't forget to share with your friends. Don't mind the background music. I just need some sound because it gets a little awkward just talking to the camera. But today, my video is going to be about 5 things that I've learned after 2 years of working out. So this is going to be a 2-part series, or there's going to be 2 videos, but I'm only going to go over 5 in this first video. The first one is going to be bulking is stupid. So if you are getting into working out, do not bulk. It's dumb. I did it. I was around 190 pounds last year, 2019. I started working consistently 2018, the summer of 2018. So it's been around almost 2 years now. And I've dropped around 25 pounds almost. Last year I was 190 in the summer. Right now, currently, I'm at my lowest at 165. But I don't know why I bulked. It's just dumb. Don't do it. Whenever you start working out, your body is gonna put on weight naturally. Your body is gonna respond to your workouts, so you're gonna put on a little bit of mass. It really depends on everybody. You might put on 5 to 10 pounds, especially if you've never worked out in your life, especially if you're skinny. It all depends on your genetics, but don't bulk. It's just dumb. You're going to be eating a lot of food, and what I would do is I would say, hey, I'm this heavy because I'm bulking, and I was just so fat for no reason. I was stronger back then, a couple months back before this whole pandemic hit. I was stronger. I was squatting like 315 for 5 reps. Now I haven't even touched 315. I'm sticking to lower weights just because cutting down the weight, you are going to be lower energy, but I feel better. I look better. I'm not as fat. I don't have that big gut sticking out all the time. Just don't bulk. It's dumb. You're going to see people telling you go ahead and bulk because it's going to help you build muscle. You can build muscle when you're cutting, when you're in a calorie deficit. You don't necessarily have to be bulking to build muscle. You could build muscle maintaining your weight, and you can build muscle obviously being in a caloric surplus, meaning that you're eating more calories that you burn, right? Bulking is gonna help you build muscle quicker, but at the expense of getting more fat at the same time. So now, a couple months back, I would have said, yeah, go ahead and bulk. But when you really think about it, you're gonna bulk and you want to lean bulk. You don't want to do a quick bulk, because if you're just gonna start eating whatever, you're gonna put on fat so quickly. Building muscle takes a long time, and people don't realize that. Take your time. If you're gonna bulk, do it slowly. Honestly, you wanna put on maybe like around 1 pound a month, maximum maybe 2. Just because if you start putting like 5 pounds in a month, a lot of that is not going to be muscle. It doesn't matter what anybody says, unless, like I said, unless you're new to working out and you've never worked out before, or unless you start using drugs, which I wouldn't recommend that. And then if you do start bulking, and let's say you go on the high end, you start putting on anywhere between 2 to 5 pounds a month, it's going to be a lot harder to lose that weight. It's so much easier to be eating a lot of food than it is to cut down the weight. It's, you could go pick up whatever and it'll add an extra 200 to 500 calories, and then 200 500 calories, you have to run 5 miles to burn 500 calories. And who wants to do that? It's so easy. Like, just don't bulk. It's dumb. I did it. Trust me. You're gonna be better off just staying at a low body fat percentage and slowly, gradually making progress. If you're at a higher body fat percentage, I would say drop that. And if you're at an okay body fat percentage and you're happy with where your body is at, just try to maintain that. Keep hitting the weights. Keep eating protein. Keep your protein as high as you can, around 1 gram per pound of body weight. But yeah, avoid bulking. I did it. Dumb. I've learned my lesson, and I'm paying for it now. 25 pounds down later. And number 2, which I also started doing because of this pandemic, which I would not do before, is cardio. First thing I want to say, cardio is not going to make you lose muscle, no matter what anybody says. If anything, it's gonna help you. In the past, I would always say, don't do cardio, because cardio is gonna kill your gains, it's gonna make you weak, but it's not. It's gonna help you. You're gonna feel a lot better. You're gonna burn more calories. It's gonna help you stay leaner. That was just part of my mindset when I was heavier. Look at all these people who are like professional athletes, professional football players, not so much soccer players, but even then, look at their physiques. They do a lot of cardio, they run a lot, they do a lot of drills, and look at how well they're built. You can make the argument that some of these players are using performance enhancing drugs, aka steroids and other things like that. What's the whole point of looking good and being big if the most important muscle in your body, your heart, doesn't work? There's plenty of people who are huge, they're big, they're built, but they can't run a mile for their life, or literally they'll walk for a little bit and after 20 minutes of just walking, they're just out of breath. I was kind of like that. I started running. Right now I've been consistently running for around a month, maybe a little bit over that, but cardio is just gonna help. It's good for your heart. It's good for de-stressing. Cardio is essential, and like I said, it's not gonna make you lose any of your gains. It's not gonna make you lose the muscle that you've built, as long as you're eating properly, you're eating enough protein, you're consuming enough calories, and you're getting enough sleep. Obviously, if you're under eating, you're not eating enough protein, and you're not getting proper rest, then yes, it's gonna affect you. But it's not so much the cardio, it's more the other things, that you're not resting enough, you're not eating enough, and you're not getting enough protein. Number 3, which a lot of people would just, nowadays with social media, everyone expects quick progress. Number 3 is muscle takes time to build. Be patient. You're gonna see a lot of people say, or they're gonna try to sell you programs like, hey, I'm gonna help you build 15 to 20 pounds in 1 to 3 months or something like that. But like I said, muscle takes a long time to build. The only times you're gonna be building muscle quickly is at the very beginning of your fitness journey, if you've never worked out before, just because your body is going to be really sensitive to the stimuli that is provided by lifting weights, or if you start using drugs, steroids, other things like that. Side note, there are more drugs than just steroids. There are so many more drugs than just steroids. Everybody thinks that if you're huge and you're big and vascular and you're just cut and strong, everyone thinks that you're using steroids. What most people don't know is that there are more drugs other than steroids, and steroids themselves, the actual like testosterone itself, a lot of people don't actually use that because it has so many side effects. There's so many other drugs out there that have the same effects on your body as testosterone, but have like none of the side effects. But yeah, take your time building your muscle. There's almost no way to really tell how much muscle you're building, only other than tracking things like your circumference measurements, things like around your chest, around your arms, around your thighs, around your stomach, things like that, tracking your body fat percentage and watching the weight on the scale slowly go up while maintaining that body fat low. Obviously, if your weight is going up and your body fat is going up, that means that you're not putting on muscle. That means that you're putting on fat, because your body fat is going up. Don't expect to put on a huge amount of muscle, especially if you've been working out for around a year. After around a year, 2 years, it starts to slow down dramatically. Like I said, if you're brand new to working out, you're gonna have a lot of progress early on. You're gonna have a good transformation, but after that, it's slow progress. You get as much as you can. That first year, like I said, you might put on 5 to 10 pounds of muscle, depending on where you're at, where your body's at, depending on your genetics, but just take your time. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the law of diminishing returns, but that same thing applies with building muscle. The more you've been at it, the less you're gonna get from your workouts, the less muscle you're gonna be gaining yearly. And that's okay, because obviously humans, we have limits, we have physical limits. Everything has a limit. If we were to just put on muscle endlessly, what would we look like? And the next one, and I've been talking about this for a little bit now during this video, but losing weight. Like I said, I'm 25 pounds down from 190 a year later. Number 4 is going to be losing weight isn't always healthy. And before you say anything like, yeah, no, losing weight is healthy, yes, if you're obese, if you're overweight, losing weight is going to be healthy. What I mean by this is the act of losing weight, the way in which you're losing weight. Sometimes, I like to say fitness is more than just physical, it's mental and emotional. A lot of people leave out the mental part, a lot of people leave out the emotional part. Physical, anybody could go to the gym and, lift weights, anybody could go do their cardio. That's the easy part. The hard part is establishing good habits, setting good relationships with food. What I mean by losing weight isn't always healthy is you'll see a lot of people out there try to do challenges or go on diets. Maybe they do a 30-day challenge where they say, hey, 30-day challenge, lose 30 pounds in 30 days. Not only is that unhealthy, losing 30 pounds in 30 days, that's a pound a day. And I can go into more detail about that in another video. Losing 30 pounds in 30 days is so unhealthy. And the way in which you're gonna do that, you're probably gonna be restricting yourself from eating all these foods. You're probably gonna be starving yourself. And then diets. Don't even get me started on diets. I hate diets. Everyone's always going on things like keto diets. There's all these other diets out there, low carbs or low fats or whatever. My personal opinion on diets is stick to the diet that works best for you. Diet, the word diet, what it means is the accumulation of foods that you consume. I don't know why people have taken the word diet and they've set it to this thing where it's like, okay, you're only allowed to eat this food, you're only allowed to eat that food. Diet is what you eat. It's not going and choosing certain foods and avoiding other foods. Just don't do that. That's literally so unhealthy. Like, you're looking at foods and you're saying, oh, I can't have that, I can't have this. Especially on things like the keto diet, they just say carbs are bad for you. That doesn't make any sense. Carbs are important for your body, just as proteins, just as fats. They're the 3 main macronutrients you need in your diet. You need all of them. You shouldn't be avoiding any of them. Obviously, if you overeat any of them, if you overeat carbs, if you overeat protein, if you overeat fat, you're gonna gain weight. The whole thing behind that is overeating. As long as you're not overeating, you shouldn't be gaining weight. The whole reason why people say carbs are bad, this is my opinion, and this is slight fact too. Carbs aren't bad. If you're saying carbs are bad, you're saying things like vegetables are bad, things like fruits are bad. Those are carbs. But you see doctors, it's literally common sense. You should be eating vegetables, you should be eating fruit, you should be eating things like whole grains, wheat, things like that. Everyone says, oh, white rice is bad. No, it's not bad for you. Obviously, like I said, if you're overeating, yeah, it's bad. Just use some common sense. Don't be overeating. When people, and I have a big grudge against the keto diet. I don't know if you guys can tell that. But when people say carbs are bad, what I think they mean is things like donuts, things like fried foods, things like chips, all these processed things. Think about it. If you compare, let's say, a piece of broccoli, which is a carb, to a donut. Let's say you have a pound of broccoli and you have a pound of donuts. What do you think is going to be healthier? Obviously, if you have any common sense, you're going to say the broccoli. The broccoli is good, low calorie. Donut is fried, filled with sugar, and it just doesn't make sense. If you're eating things like fruits and vegetables, you're going to be okay. It's only whenever you have those habits of eating junk food, going out and eating fast food, going out and eating donuts, kolaches, all this stuff that you don't need, that's when it becomes an issue. That's when carbs are bad. And it's not necessarily carbs, it's the things that go into those foods. It's, again, overeating, having all these unnecessary foods, and it's just common sense. So if you're trying to lose weight, do it slowly, be healthy about it. Don't go on diets. If you prefer things like a low fat diet, not dieting, not going on a diet, a low fat diet, meaning the foods you eat are low in fat, then do that. Obviously, everyone has a different preference. Some people, they prefer low carbs, some people prefer low fats. For me, I prefer low fats. I don't like eating oily, greasy things, just because fats have a lot more calories and they are less satiating than protein and carbs. but do whatever works for you. One analogy I use a lot when it comes to losing weight, anything about fitness in general, is think of a sculptor. When they're sculpting a sculpture, when they're making their art, they don't go in and break huge chunks of their statues. They, if anything, the slower, the less you chip away, the better the end result will be. The more detailed the end result will be. If they were to just go in and get a big hammer and just start smacking away at the statue, their end product wouldn't be good, and they would have to start over, and they would have to get a different statue, and then they start back at where they began at. And that's what usually happens with people when they go on diets. They lose the weight, yeah, they do it in a short amount of time, but they've been so restrictive, they bounce back, they gain the weight back, and then some. Because obviously we all know, the more you avoid something that you want, the more you're gonna want it. So you just have to have that balance. It's not bad to have certain foods, to go out and eat donuts and everything once in a while, as long as you're not doing it every day. It's okay to do it. There's nothing wrong with that. But whenever it's a habit, whenever you're just doing it all the time, then yeah, it's not good. And this last one, the fifth tip, is going to be consistency over intensity. A lot of people, and so far in this video it's more towards beginners, things that the mistakes you make when you're beginning working out, they just go into the gym and they kill themselves. They just go in and just do all this, they do so much, and then they're sore. I used to do it when I was younger. When I was around 13, I wasn't working out consistently back then, but I would go into the gym, I would just go hard, and I would work out once, maybe twice a week, because I was just so sore for the whole week. And you have to recover. You need your recovery. I was listening to a podcast earlier today. This is what I heard on the podcast. So take two people, right? You take person A, works out 2 times a week, and then you have person B, works out 6 times a week. Person A is just going all out, high intensity, they're lifting their weights, they're doing whatever, and they're just going all in, like going hard. And you have person B, maybe a little bit, they're working a little bit less intense, enough to get a good workout in, but less intense, and they're working out 6 times a week, right? Person A is going to need so much more recovery than person B, because person A is just smashing their body. And if you've ever worked out before, you know how long it is to recover from being sore. Usually it takes around 24 to 48 hours, depending on how sore you are. If you're really sore and you can't move, then it's gonna take a couple of days. So let's say you take those people, right? Person A, person B. Person A works out 2 times a week, high intensity, smashes their body, kills themselves, goes all out on every workout. And you have person B who works out 6 times a week, less intense, but they're going to the gym more often, right? 6 times a week. If you do the math, we have 52 weeks in a year. 2 times 52 is 104. So that's person A. Person A has worked out 104 times for that whole year. And then you have person B. 6 times 52 is 312. Person B has over 100 more workouts in than person A. So who do you think is going to make more progress? The person who has done 102 workouts, or the person who has done around 200 and 300 workouts that whole year? Not only is person B working out more and making more progress, person B is also going at it in a more healthy manner. Instead of going in and killing themselves all the time, they're getting proper recovery, they're going to the gym, they're working out hard enough to get a good workout, but not too hard to where they have to spend 2, 3, 4 days out of the gym. They're going to the gym 6 times a week compared to the person who's going 2 times a week. So you do the math. Take person A, take person B, put them, they're working out for 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Think of how many more workouts person B is going to have. Think of how much more progress person B is going to have, because they're going to the gym more. Think of it like this. Think of it as someone who, think of athletes, think of artists. In order for them to get good at what they do, the more repetitions they get, the better they're going to be at that. So if person B is going to the gym 6 times a week compared to 2 times, and in the whole year they're getting 100 plus more workouts than person A, think of how much more progress they're going to make. lot of people make the mistake of just going hard from the beginning. No, you gotta go slow. You gotta start off somewhere. You don't just, it's like a marathon. You don't start off with the sprint, because by the end of the marathon, everyone's gonna be ahead of you and you're gonna be way in the back because you didn't take your time with it. You wanted to get to the end so quickly, but you burn yourself out. It's just not smart. So, like I said, consistency over intensity. Try to be as active as you can, as consistently as possible, compared to being as intense as possible all the time, because intensity comes and goes, right? One day you're going to be a little bit more intense, you're going to feel better, you're going to be able to put out more than other days. But if you're putting out 100% all the time, you're going to mess yourself up. It's not sustainable. But that was the first part of this 2-part series. 5 things I learned after working out for 2 years. If you guys like this video, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, click that bell icon, and don't forget to share with your friends. If you have any comments or if you have any questions, leave it down in the comments. I am doing online coaching, so if you're interested in that, email me, follow me on Instagram, send me a DM, and we can get started on something like that if you're interested in that. But other than that, I appreciate you guys watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.